Good evening, Rusk enjoyers. Hope you're doing right, 'cause it's time for the 48 analysis. Basically, in this video, I'm going to look at all the skins in the current Rust store, make comparisons to previous Rust store skins to get a good idea in regards to, well, how much are each of these skins likely to sell by next Thursday, and then knowing that, will then question, are these skins still holding up to being perfectly fine investments, or are there any potential problems that you need to be aware of? So sit back, relax, I'm going to start yapping. So here's the first 24 hours of sales, and to my surprise, not a single skin did over 10,000 subscribers. Now, something you could consider, this Rust store did rotate fairly early, like it was a similar time that we'd normally see for a force wipe. But if anything, I'd expect more sales then. So, Now, what's so significant about 10,000 subscribers? Well, that's usually at least like a decent range where we're going to easily notice a skin that's likely to do about 20,000 subscribers. It doesn't look like any of these skins will probably be reaching 20,000 subscribers by the end of the week, by Thursday. And considering the skins we have here, certain collection continuations and whatnot, that's pretty significant, isn't it? Yes, it is. So, okay. Of course, when we talk about all the skins individually, there's definitely some talking points there. But shall we now show you the first 48 hours of sales? Now, just to point out, I am recording it at a later time. This is what it was earlier. And, well, the second day sales are like next to nothing as well. It really looks like things have slowed down. Now, as I said, I am recording it a fair bit later, so it's actually a good few hours since, of course, the actual 48 hours. So if I go over to here, the amount of sales we've seen extra since then, it's hardly been anything. I really am under the impression that we're probably not going to see a skin reach 20,000 subscribers this week. Now, you know, maybe something might just about, probably the sheep door, we'll see. But do not be surprised that is actually going to potentially happen. And some of you are probably looking at the Python and the Locker, and you're probably sitting there saying, so you're telling me those are going to be the lowest selling skins in their collections? As of now, it looks like that is a decent possibility. So shall we now go through all these skins individually, and then talk about, you know, what's their likely sales by next Thursday. Cobalt Jungle Container SMD. An interesting bit of transparency, a cool foliage design with all the grass, like all the foliage green on it. So of course you might want to, you know, build up your base, cover it in certain rugs like grass rug or jungle ivy rug, and use that to nicely blend in with all of that. Looks nice, looks cool. Hey, it's up to you how you design your base, how you decorate. But that right there, the transparency, very useful. With how you set up your base, with jump ups and whatnot, that can be utilised in a very useful way. Cool. We showcased that in the Rust rotation video. Consider giving that a good watch. Now, this right here, it is part of a growing collection. So, of course, we've had the armoured double door. That sold quite nicely, still retaining its value quite nicely. Very cool. This definitely looks like it's branching out to its own collection now. I see these two skins here, but if anything, I feel like that should be its own thing now. This is its own identity. And we have seen other skins being produced, but only now when we saw the sheep door being produced was it accepted. So, okay. Maybe another attempt at a sheep double door, an armoured door, we'll see. But the sales, Hedge, the sales. How much is that going to reach? Well, let's hop back over to here. That did just over 9,000 subscribers. And the previous week, we had a skin right there, Night Hunter's Door. Now, I could also look at the Boneforge face mask, which did sell a little bit more. Well, we could do a quick comparison. We could see how much that reached. We could see how much each, that reached. And we'll probably get a good idea in regards to how far or how low potentially could this sheep door reach. So, let's go take a look at the previous week. And, well, as a nice little indicator, you can see that that face mask reached just under 20,000 subscribers. And that sheep door, that only did just over 18,000 subscribers. Now, one thing I just want to quickly point out, you might notice some of these skins kind of got rearranged in a bit of an awkward way. Yeah, SEMM's a bit funny at the moment. So, if you're wondering about the positioning of the skins, it's SEMM bug. So that right there, just over 18. That right there, just under 20. I mean, for our, Jungle Container SMD, 18 to 20,000 subscribers seems to be a perfectly fine suggestion. But I'm still doubting that it'll reach 20,000. I'd like to see it happen. But there's a possibility it won't. Now, if it ended up at like 19,800 subscribers, that's still basically 20,000. But anyway, with what we see going on here, at $2.49, by default, if it was any other sheep door, I really just wouldn't question it that much. But the nice grassy green, mossy foliage that we have in it with the transparency. I could see it holding up quite nicely like the B middle door. And that only did 13,000 subscribers, so okay. And of course I have already pointed out that the skin creator has intended to try and turn this into a collection, but it took a while until we saw the sheep in the door being accepted, so will there be more of this? I wouldn't doubt it. I fully expect even more potentially this weekend, so keep an eye on Cubist's workshop. I'm sure you'll be seeing something very interesting fairly soon, but yeah, I seem to have screwed that up a little bit, but anyway, that is looking interesting. It's also abnormal, so of course Wednesday night we'll hop onto my stream, we'll all say hello, we'll figure out prices, and that is looking to be an interesting skin. I can see people appreciating it, and it's not selling too ridiculously, which is also a benefit, so okay, fair enough. 18 to 20,000 subscribers, let's see if it matches up to that. It's looking interesting. With the next few skins, they're all very close to each other. I might still treat the Heatseeker Python a little bit different, but they were very close. So if we could just quickly hop back over to here. So here we are. Heatseeker Python, 8,600 subscribers. Then these drop off to about 8,000. But I'll treat this a little bit different. So is there anything that we can compare to? Well, looking at everything, I think the only thing we can compare to is the antique hatchet. And if we go a little bit further back, we do... no. No, it doesn't look like we have that much else. I know. I guess you could probably still look at the likes of the 9,000 subscriber door from the previous week. So that did just over 18,000. Okay, cool. So let's hop back over to here. We now need to see the hatchet. And that hatchet, how much did that reach? That did 15,600 subscribers. So more specifically for the Python, I'm looking at that and thinking, well, 16 to 18,000 subscribers. With the current sales I'm looking at, I might bump that up and say 17 to 19,000 subscribers. That is still pretty low. That is looking to be the lowest selling Heatseeker skin we've had ever since we've got all the Heatseeker skins. Now just to reiterate, Heatseeker Python does have transparent aim sight. It's just, well, it's not unique. There are 3 other Pythons that also have the same amount of transparency. The Chrome Bombshell, the Redemption, and the Blackout. And 2 of them are cheaper compared to this $3 price here. Is that kind of being a damper on its potential? Probably, but this is still part of a very in-demand collection. But yeah, that's $1 cheaper, that's 50 cents cheaper, and the Blackout skin's likely going to retain its value regardless, so they're all kind of different and unique and special in their own way, but this has the collection. And with the progress of this collection, you can even see like the AK's doing very, very well, even though its same site isn't that special. And we did just have the Thompson, and we thought 34,000 subscribers was fairly reasonable compared to these 2 at the very least. So if we could just quickly hop over to here. This has been out for, almost a week now? No, it's been more than that because we had a week break, didn't we, from Heatseeker Collection. That now has 445 listings. That is now listed at $3.30. Technically speaking, that is in the positive. But if you bought that for $3, you have to list it on the Steam market at $3.45 because of the tax. And basically, it's not profitable. With a smart buy order, it is. But, yeah. This has still essentially sold what is expected to be potentially twice as much as what the Python will potentially sell. If that did 34,000, we just said maybe 17 to 19,000 for the Python. Okay, yeah. So, I don't think we'll see probably this same sort of situation, but it wouldn't be very similar if it's basically holding at evens. Again, there are other options. I've already just made mention of it. It's a perfectly fine looking Python, but now we also have to bring up how often are people even using Pythons? Because when you look at skins for certain weapons and whatnot, if they are all down bad, that's usually a good indicator that people they do not like using the weapon that much. Aside from the transparent aim sight Pythons, all these other ones are down really bad. They're all down by about half their price. Yep. So I get the feeling this is just not getting that much love because people don't care enough about the weapon itself. And by default, I don't think it'll be retaining. I think that still might be probably struggling. Yeah, I'm a bit concerned about that one. So, alright. Fair enough. We'll leave it at that. But it is looking to be the lowest selling Heatseeker skin in the game. I can confirm to you that Mr. Vase is still working on the collection, and I know what's coming out next. I've already seen it, but you got to wait a little. Let's just say another very cool looking transparent aim sight is on the horizon. It's not the revolvers. We've already got those, but like something else after it. So what's it going to be? Keep an eye on his workshop. Cool. So, all right, we can still anticipate collection continuation. The more, the merrier for the collection. Heatseeker Summer. Let's continue. But more specifically, let's now continue and talk about the other skins here. Island Assault Tier 3 and Bamboo Cage Locker. They're doing very similar numbers in terms of sales, and if we were to hop back over to here, you can see they're all basically just over 8,000 subscribers in the first 24 hours of sales. So, okay, you know what? Maybe we'll just go reference back to the hatchet. That did just over 8,000 subscribers. Here we are, and of course that did just about 15,600. Now it's going to be a very similar number to the Python, but more specifically, if we're going to look at these other skins and look at how they're currently a fair bit off compared to that at the moment, I think Island Assault Tier 3 and the Locker, I think they're going to probably do between 15 to 17,000 subscribers. Yeah, I might bump it up to 15 to 18. I'll do 15 to 18,000 subscribers. Okay, fair enough. For that Tier 3, that's okay. We're still anticipating the potential to see a collection continuation. And let me point out, we already have the hoodie and pants. They were submitted last week. So, yep, Grey Out collection. The Henchman collection. That's a joke I said, but it really does look like a henchman sort of outfit and whatnot. Hey, it's stylish, right? Shut up. But yeah, doesn't matter. So as long as we see collection continuations, that's going to benefit greatly. But the amount of potential sales, as we just suggested, that is still quite a lot. However, comparing this to all the other collections we've seen for Tier 3, Tier 2, hoodie and pants, all clothing armor sets, I've never seen a grey, non-shiny set. Matte grey. Yeah, I think that's special, and I think people will appreciate it. I kind of wouldn't be surprised if we do see a collection continuation, because people clearly are showing signs of they really do like it. But we're also kind of anticipating like a few other clothing armor sets to be finished, to be finalized. Tie collection, Deep Ruby would have appreciated a collection continuation. The Tiger stuff. What's going on, Face Punch? I know. But keep an eye on that. It's looking promising. If you bought it because you like it, don't blame you. If you're wanting to make an investment, both of these skins are abnormal. Let's just wait until Wednesday. We'll figure out prices, rest to put barders down, and afterwards we'll look at the support and see if things are looking interesting. It's the smartest way to go about it. That Bamboo Cage Locker. I, of course, put out a video on Twitter showcasing how you might want to utilize it. In my rust rotation video, I did it again. So again, if you want to get a good look at that, consider watching my rust rotation video. If that's potentially going to do 15 to 18,000 subscribers, that's looking like it's going to do about 2/3 of the sales that we saw for the boxes. Now, in terms of interesting usage, this being smaller, green and transparent, it's a lot easier to hide in forest bushes and jungle foliage. And you could use it for peaks. You can put that on walls, but it's not very durable. 30 bullets and it's down. We did talk about the possibility of using the large box to hang over like the very top of bases on roofs, and it takes 60 bullets to destroy it. Perhaps that could be useful. But the Locker, whilst you do have to put it on a foundation, that can tank 100 bullets from an AK. You could see through it perfectly fine. That's a great thing to consider putting on your base, in theory. Has anyone notable, not me, I'm not that big, but I have reached 10,000 subscribers on YouTube, thank you very much. But that right there, if someone that's notable on YouTube, on Twitch, starts using on their roofs, other people notice, other people follow, it's looking interesting, and it's looking to be the lowest selling bamboo skin out of the three. Now, in terms of all the other lockers, this one has a ton of transparency, but there is another locker that has transparency, that of course being Cargo Heli, which just so happens to be, well, it was the most expensive, not too far off, but it's pretty valuable. We'll stick with that. But yeah, that has had a pretty interesting time on the Steam market for the past 5 years, but it's been pretty valuable. People have appreciated it. Well, now we have this, and it's even more insane with its transparency, and this looks like it could potentially even sell less than that, and that came out 5 years ago. what is going on? Because it really did look like a lot of people were super interested in that. But then again, subscriber counts doesn't necessarily mean the definitive number. It's just the bare minimum amount of people that bought the skin. I can't help but assume a lot of people probably bought extras of that. I can't give you the actual answer because only the skin creator knows, but yeah. Things are looking interesting. Things are looking very, very cool. Like, just one video showcasing it, whether they call it pay to win or an exploit, putting it in a wall frame and using it for protection and in a door frame and whatnot. You get the idea. Will that actually take off? Will people actually go for it? I will sit here and say things are only looking even more interesting because it is definitely not selling as much as what we initially assumed. And that's just making things... So maybe we might go strong with it with the Barders this Wednesday. Maybe we see a very interesting collection continuation being produced by the skin creators this weekend. We'll find out. But they did say they want to kind of focus doing some doors next. How that look? We'll see. Is it going to be fully transparent? I don't think that's allowed, but we'll see. Let's now move on and talk about the Twisted Metal Sheet Metal Double Door. So if you saw my predictions video, out of all the skins here, I thought that was the most reliable. Now, I've put out a short video earlier today, and if you put like some torches next to this, some skull spikes, it really makes the smile look ever so much more menacing. Oh, yes. Something for you to consider, especially for Halloween time. So, yes, this is looking to be the most reliable, considering that sheet metal double doors are in demand. People have been craving new ones for a long time now, because we've only got 5 so far this year. This time last year, we had about 12? Well, that's a very rough answer, but we had a lot overall last year, didn't we? Yep. And every single skin that isn't a holiday-themed skin is in a positive ever so comfortably, ever so nicely. So, that's showing promise. Even if this collection doesn't appear to be very in demand, sheet metal double door skin, no, it doesn't matter. I'm looking at that with some positivity. But let's go ahead and try and figure out how many sales we're actually going to see. So hopping back over to here. That sheet metal double door has only done 6,700 subscribers in the first 24 hours of sales. If I was to compare, well, I'm looking. Could look at the Ruin SMG. That was last week. Anything else? Could look at the garage door from quite some time back. That was May 8th. So, all right. Previous week and May 8th. Off we go. So, what do I see here with the Ruin SMG? Just under 16,000 subscribers. Okay, cool. Then if I go over to here, I'm looking at the garage door here. That had just over 16,000 subscribers. I think I might consider... I think I'm going to go with 14 to 17,000 subscribers. Looking back at it right now, I feel like that's a perfectly reasonable amount. But that's still kind of a little bit more compared to the average of sales that we saw last year. Not ridiculous amount, but still a little bit higher than average. But even then, I still look at that with positivity. Now, again, it doesn't glow. Is that be or end all? Can't really answer that for you. But it's still got a very interesting, unique design. A very unique smile. And I won't be surprised if we do see more of this collection. But the collection doesn't seem to be super in demand. The prices aren't exactly holding up. But garage doors in general, furnaces in general, sheet metal doors in general, they're not doing good. So, yeah. I mean, if we had like a wooden double door, that would probably be perfectly in the positive right about now. So, but yeah, looking at you, I still look at you with like some like confidence. That'll probably be the first thing I put a barter down when we do the abnormal barders. So yeah, I'm still looking at that with some positivity. I still think that's going to retain its value ever so nicely. And if it's not the top selling skin of the week, all the better for it to rise up in price in the future. Fingers crossed. So, all right, still looking at that with positivity. So, cool. Let's move on. So, Cocoknight Bandana. You're fairly close to the Cryo small box. Let me just quickly confirm that. How close were you to? Kind of close. If I was to compare to previous weeks, is there anything? Could look at the Cobalt AK47. Do we have anything that's like smack dab at 5,000 subscribers? Not from what I can see at the moment. No. Oh, there you go. Crocodile double barrel shotgun. Well, I could look at the AK and the double barrel shotgun then. All right, cool. That's what we'll do. So I might pair up these two then. Let's take a look. So if I were to go to the previous week and look at the AK, of course, that AK only did just over 11,000 subscribers. Now, if I was to go all the way over to here and look at that double barrel shotgun, well, as you can see, that did just under 12,000 subscribers. Interesting. Very, very interesting. So I guess we could probably sit here and say 10 to 12,000 subscribers for both of these. This more likely going to go up to 12,000. This more likely going to end up at 10,000. Okay. Well, for that bandana, that will probably help it out quite a fair bit because overall bandana skins, they're very 50-50. But this is slotting in to pair up quite nicely with the wood armor. Cool. And also, I did bring this up. There very likely is a possibility we're going to start maybe seeing some primitive wood armor skins. Burlap, hide clothing, who knows what it'll be, but if we see it and it gets accepted, that bandana's going to spike in price. Oh, yes. So you got to keep an eye on Mishka's workshop. We'll see what's going to get made next, but things are looking pretty promising there. All right. So if we do see those collection continuations, cool. And with it potentially only doing 10 to 12,000 subscribers, it really isn't that much. All the better if it's rise in price if we do see spikes in price. So, yeah, you get the idea. So that's looking okay. We're still questioning the amount of usage it'll get, but if we get those continuations, still going up in price. Cool. Cryo small box, selling very tamely, much like the fridge. I want to point that out. That did very tame sales. Look at it now, $7. My goodness, people really do appreciate the design. They like it. Are they going to appreciate the small box just as much? That's a bit questionable. But even based on what we're looking at the moment, the small box is still looking like it's going to sell more compared to the fridge. We'll see. But small boxes in general. Just real quickly showcase this. As you can see here, recently had the bamboo cage box with all the transparency in its green design. It's not too surprising to see it's doing very nicely at the moment. Fireflies. That's part of a well-established deplorable collection that people do appreciate. Also green, but it does glow in the dark. But people still appreciate it. That's doing all right. All these other small boxes, though, not looking good, is it? No, that's a bit of a problem. Yep. But this glows in the dark. Very unique transparency in the top as well and whatnot. If you remove an enemy's head, you could stick it in there and laugh at them as they live forever. Because it's cryogenics. Shut up. There is, a whole batch of skins that will have been submitted for the Cryo collection that weren't accepted, unfortunately. Many doors, large box, none of them accepted. But the small box was. What's stopping the skin creator from just resubmitting these, making them a version 2 and whatnot? Nothing really stopping him. But would he succeed? Or what other skins does he need to do? An armoured door? Actually, no, it wouldn't be too bad of an idea. We haven't had an armoured door skin in all of 2025 so far. But very recently, we have seen a locker being produced by them. Bit of a coincidence, we already have a locker in this roster. It doesn't matter. 2 weeks in a row, yippee. Black glows in the dark very nicely. Very cool looking transparency. Hey, we'll see what becomes of that. But that small box, even then, I'm still iffy. But it's abnormal, right? We have the time to our advantage. So what we'll do is we'll do the barders, look at the support afterwards, and then we'll consider, how to approach it afterwards. Grim Garden AK47. A very strange yet unique idea. I'm going to do dinosaur bones with lovely flowers. Alright, fair enough, cool. Can't complain. It's unique in a very silly but strange way. Now, with that clearly selling quite a fair bit less, how much did you have in the first 24 hours of sales? You had only 4,200. Lucky me, though, we do have things we could compare to. So here's the all or nothing box. You could also look at the Coxar. That was a good, 2 weeks ago? Let's go take a look at both of those. So off we go. Okay, I went too far back. Here we are. That SAR did just over 11,000 subscribers, but the box, that did just barely over 10,000. Now I'm going to be brutally honest with you. I don't really see this AK doing that well. I think I'm going to do 9 to 11,000 subscribers. Okay? That isn't that much, but even then, for a fairly strange looking AK, I could still see it dropping off in price. I feel like it's just going to end up like most general AKs. Yep. So that means down in price. Most likely down by half its price. Most likely down to $1. Maybe even less. We have so many AKs being accepted every single year. And unfortunately, not all of them can be special. Not all of them can go up in price ever so nice. And the tons of them, they will halve in price. They will end up going down to less than $1. Because we keep seeing more and more. So 9 to 11,000, that's still quite a lot. especially compared to skins that really have sold like next to nothing. So I worry for that, I'm afraid. 60 cent, 20 cent buy order. At the end of the day, guys, not every single skin has to be an investment. If you see something that you really do like, by all means, just buy it. Treat yourself. Support those skin creators. Keep them nice and motivated to keep wanting to put out nice creative designs in the future. Sounds good? Cool. So, overall, it kind of doesn't look like we're going to see any skins who ever, sell over 20,000 subscribers. It's interesting, it really is. And again, the potential for even more collection continuations for all these skins only making things even more interesting. So you've got to keep an eye on the workshop. You've got to keep an eye out for what new things are currently being worked on. Right then, so is there anything else that we can discuss? Well, things in general, they are improving. So prices for skins are going up. Here's the Legacy Bow. That was a very special bow skin that came out in late 2023 for a whole month. December 2023, that was available. That was in every rust store, including the Christmas ones. That is now sitting here on the Steam market at $6. Even though it was in 4 different rust stores, yes, it went down during the Easter dip, down those dreaded spring months. It did peak up in price ever so nicely, up to about $7 to $8 at the very beginning of January, early this year. But we're trending upwards, and we are definitely going full steam ahead to match up to that price again. Much like many skins as well, this is happening to a lot. A lot of skins had a bit of a dip when a lot of people weren't playing that much Rust, of course, the spring months. But now it's the summer, now that kids are hopefully hopping out of school now and playing Rust instead. We'll see a lot more people playing, and of course, a lot more of the skins going up in price ever so nicely. More demand, highest prices, not too hard to comprehend. And also, summer sale. So if you go type this in, when is next summer sale? In short, we want to find out when exactly we're going to see a whole bunch of brand new people appearing. Because, of course, Rust will go on sale and loads of people buy it, and then loads of people are like, how do I play? And then we shoot them. Oh, you came here to enjoy yourself? No. So, yeah, that's just about 2 weeks away. So, okay, cool. Stars are aligning. But at the moment, player count, still not amazing. Still very good, especially compared to the previous year. It's just could be better. Could be a lot better. And hopefully it will be. But it's a bit of a slow start at the moment. So, okay, we'll see. But prices are still going up. All right? So, cool. So just to point out, I am the only person keeping an eye out now for all the newest workshop skins that are being submitted. You can still go to micro522.com as well. It's always linked in the description. Just click date submitted once and you'll see all the newest skins. It updates every hour, so just refresh every now and then. Hover over all the skins to get a nice little preview. And you get the idea. You can be fully well aware of all the new skins that have been submitted. Cool. Right then, so, yeah. What happens with the top picks list now? No more. That's it. Done. TGG apparently is no longer making videos, no longer making top picks lists. Don't know what is going on. I don't think he's actually revealed what's going on with his job and whatnot. But yeah. How is Face Punch going to pick the skins from now on? I don't know. They don't have anyone doing the checks for them anymore. AKA, TGG would always look at all the newest skins, double check to make sure there's no copyright issues, make sure each skin was of the quality standard. He'd put it all on his list, and it would be passed on to Face Punch. And as a thank you, he'd get a guaranteed skin every 3 or so months. The Bombshell collection. I'm sorry to say, well, with these changes, you're not going to see another Bombshell skin being accepted anymore. It's just not going to happen. What a shame, but overall, it was a very successful collection in its own way. Nice green skins here. The doors have been exceptional. So, I guess you could say thank you to that German guy. Because he gave you so many lovely looking skins. And if you're like me, you made lots and lots of profit. Oh, yes. So, cool. Right then. So, anything else to be said? Nothing's really been happening on the commits. Nothing's really changed. So, okay, fair enough. And, well, I did basically allude to it. But Mr. Hedge has now gone over 10,000 subscribers on YouTube. So, I'd like to sit here and say thank you very much to everyone who supported me over the few years. My very first video came out, December 2021? So if you go look over to here, that'll be introducing people to the Steam market, bars and whatnot. And I started doing Rust stuff, a little bit TF2, some Counter-Strike. But eventually, when I started putting out everything I talked about, like on streams and whatnot, so much of it's Rust stuff, and then, yeah, just tons and tons and tons and tons. So I'm actually going to have a video coming out. It's basically my reaction as I saw the number go over 10,000. But, yeah, I have a few more now. Just a little bit more than 10,000. But I'm very grateful for all of your support. I can only hope things are going to be even more interesting as we go through the summer. But just be a bit patient for certain prices if you're really hoping to make some nice profit. And remember, if the profit's good to you, you can sell if you want to, right? You don't have to stick around forever. Just don't wait too long. July and August tend to be the best time to sell your skins, but maybe things change this year. Who knows? But based on what I've seen in previous years, I still think that's the case to go. Now, if I could quickly hop over to here, I've been looking at my inventory and I've been listing skins, and I can confirm to you from like Sunday last week to now, basically, I have sold $1,000 worth of Rust skins. Yep. So I had £80 in my currency, which is equal to just over $100, a fair bit more. But I've essentially sold like £750 worth of skins, $1,000 worth of skins. Yep. So if you've got a lot of skins, you could sell now. Just sell them in small batches, ride the wave of momentum. Some of these skin prices have been going up somewhat recently, so of course I just add a few more after I've sold mine and let it ride and make more profit, because that's the whole idea. You want to make more profit. Don't list all of your stock in one go. That kills momentum. Very bad idea. And if you need to see a good example of like bad ideas, stupid amounts of listings, look no further than Heatseeker collection. You know, oh, if only we could make a profit out of Heatseeker MP5. Yeah, good luck, buddy. Someone's listed 72. Yeah, that's not smart. That's not smart. Ooh. And then over to here, Heatseeker SAR. Now, a lot of us are fully well aware we're going to get those Bellum Twitch drops. The Silver SAR has a transparent aim sight, exactly like the Heatseeker SAR. And whilst this was $8 at the very beginning, basically last weekend, once I made a point that, oh, here's Silver's brand new Twitch drop. Look at its transparent aim sight. Yeah, a lot of us got clued in and realised it's probably a very good idea to sell the Heatseeker SARs. So since then, the price has kind of gone up and down, but it's kind of sticking at around $5 at the moment. Still a bit lower compared to what it was, but yeah. It very likely will get much worse when the actual Twitch drops come out in 2 weeks' time. And in terms of those Twitch drops, when they do fully release, I, of course, will showcase them off to the best of my ability. So if you ever want to find out, you know, how can I get the collection for the Bellum skins, or just look on the collections in the Rust Workshop, all I've got to do is just scroll down a little bit. Where is that collection? Where's TDG's one? It is here. This will be linked in the description. You'll be able to see all these skins. We have 10 skins at the moment. 2 of these are generic drops. We are expecting 2 extra generic drops and 1 more specific skin for a streamer. We are missing the garage door from the girl. Don't worry, they will be here at some point. I think TGG is still editing this. I don't know. Again, I don't know what's going on. I have no idea. I don't know if Face Punch is hiring someone new to do that. It's a bit awkward. So, alright, cool. I hope you're looking forward to it, and best of luck with you and your investments. Are you looking forward to these skins now that you realise they're not selling ridiculously? Are things now looking to be a whole lot more interesting in terms of investing? Your opinions, please. So, cool. That's a wrap. Thank you very much for watching me. I greatly appreciate it. Best of luck to each and every single one of you, and let's go and make some sweet, delicious looking profit.